Bonjour, comment allez-vous? All Blacks vs France, Test 1 preview. Ooh, can't wait, guys. Guys, in this video, I'm going to be covering three main topics. So, what tactics do I expect from both sides? Secondly, who are the key players and matchups from both sides? And then finally, stick around to the end and I'll give you my match prediction for Test 1 between the All Blacks versus France. Look, firstly, what tactics do I expect from both sides? I think firstly, if you start with France, I can't see too much different there from what they played like in the Six Nations. Like, France rugby plays the French way. So they'll do the basics, plenty of physicality and power up the middle, big forwards, carrying hard over the advantage line. Obviously without Dupont, which is a major blow, but I still think they'll go up the middle and look to shift the ball either short off the halfback or fly half into space, get over the advantage line, and then the French can just shift the ball, either crossfield kicks or passing the ball. They do it so well anyway, shifting the ball. So, look, I can't see too much there. And the other thing I thought, they're kind of a bit like the Fijian Drua in a lot of ways for the Super Rugby followers. Like, the French, they are really dangerous if they slip that first tackle, they offload, and suddenly they're 40 metres up the field. So they'll really test the All Blacks, I'm sure. And then they're dangerous on defence, particularly the scary thing about the French is, you know, they're a Northern Hemisphere side, so particularly their strength is that line speed, that Northern Hemisphere, they really do bring a massive emphasis on the breakdown, so they'll really target the All Blacks at the breakdown and look to really shut down and impose themselves physically with the power onto the All Blacks. So yes, this is a B or a C side. Some people saying more of a C French side, but I still think this is going to be a hell of a tough battle and a good test match to watch. If we look at the All Blacks, let me know your thoughts on them down below. It was interesting to see some comments made by Razor. Probably some of the comments and the feel I got from Razor anyway as to how he'll probably play was obviously under the roof in Dunedin, so I think they're going to play at real speed. So I wouldn't be surprised if in off touch, instead of set line-outs, plenty of power up the middle, but then shifting the ball wide and then wide and wide multiple times. Plenty of crossfield kicks I can see. I can't see the All Blacks playing much of a territory battle, to be honest. I think they'll really look to get their set piece going and move those big French forwards. That'll be interesting. The other thing I think will be quite interesting to see what happens in the loose forward trio. I can't help thinking they'll start Duplessis Karifi at 7, chuck Ardie Savea at 8, and probably Samipeni Finau, subject to injuries, guys. I can't help thinking that's what they'll go, but maybe it's brave to bring Duplessis Karifi in for the first test. Yeah, it's a tough call for Razor, but certainly that All Blacks forward pack's going to be quite interesting. And the other interesting thing with the All Blacks will be who they go with at halfback, and first 5 is going to be massive. I think the general consensus, and probably what I think, probably going to be Bowden starting. I just think that experience he brings, probably that style. I think Razor will go for that more composed style at the start, with Damien McKenzie coming on at first 5 at the end to just really change it up a bit and test the French. So again, let me know your thoughts on that down below, guys. Guys, if you're enjoying the content, please support the channel, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and chuck some banter about this All Blacks versus France first test. Boy, All Blacks games versus France, it doesn't get much better than this, does it, guys? So can't wait. Guys, a couple of interesting matchups, I reckon. So yeah, it's a bit disappointing. You look at the French lineup or the squad, and there's not a lot of heavily experienced French players that I actually recognise the names of, but particularly a couple of them anyway. So the captain, Gael Fickou, look, he's a world-class centre, and so I'll be particularly interested to see that matchup of Gael Fickou versus, I'm assuming, Rieko Ioane, maybe Rieko Ioane will move to the wing in the second half, and maybe they'll bring Billy Proctor in there, but definitely Gael Fiku versus the two of them. That will be a real spicy matchup, and I can't wait. The other one, halfback fly half for the All Blacks, Roygaard, Beauden Barrett. I think that'll be really interesting, and I say that because the game management is going to be really interesting. It's going to be absolutely key that Beauden drives the All Black ship really, really well. They're running lines, they're being accurate, they're communicating well. Yeah, the game management is absolutely crucial for the All Blacks, so that's something that I'm looking forward to. The other interesting one from me, Romain Taufifenua. Not sure I've quite pronounced that for the French lock. So, look, he's a big, big man. 2 meters tall, 135 kilos around about. So that matchup of a man of his size, and he's a tested international second rower, isn't he? So the matchup there against Tupu Vaya and Scott Barrett, I think will be really, really spicy. Finally, guys, to my prediction for Test 1. I think there's a lot of talk around New Zealand about how the All Blacks are going to put 40 points on them. I mean, it's unknown, but I think from me, when I was thinking about this today, I think there's a couple of scenarios that are quite scary for All Black supporters and exciting for the French, and then probably a couple of scenarios where they could eventuate for the French. The first is, look, even though this is a B or C equivalent French side, like, I can just see that French team, if they get 2 tries in the first 15, 20 minutes, they really get some confidence. They get their noses up. They bring that French flair. They will be very, very tough to beat. So I just think, and let me know your thoughts on this down below, if the French team start particularly well, then look out, All Black supporters and the All Blacks. Really look out, because that's going to be a tough, tough game. And look, potentially the French could win the game if they start well enough and really get a roll on. So that would be not what the pundits are expecting. Probably, I think what will happen is, I think that first half will probably be close. I think probably maybe the All Blacks are leading by 5 points at half time. I still think the All Blacks, maybe they score another try or two in the second half. Maybe the French come back a bit. But ultimately, I still think the All Blacks, traditionally, or game one of the year, the first test, they are usually rusty. So I think they will be rusty. The combinations are new. The passing might be a little bit off. So I'm expecting a little bit of rust from the All Blacks. And conversely, the French, though, obviously they're coming to the end of their rugby season. The tired legs compared to the All Blacks that are halfway through the season. Much more minutes in the last 6 months for all the All Blacks players. But yeah, obviously the French have had a game a couple of weeks back against the English, so that'll be another interesting factor. But ultimately, do I think this is going to be a 40-point win to the All Blacks? Look, over 80 minutes, potentially, if they got a roll on and the French drop their heads. But look, seeing as it's test 1, I think the All Blacks will be rusty. I think it's a tough ask for a B or a C French team to come to New Zealand and win. I think this is going to be close, though, so I'm thinking an All Blacks win by 10 points. Let me know your thoughts down below, guys. Guys, if you've enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, chuck a hell of a lot more banter down about the All Blacks versus France, and guys, I can't wait. Au revoir.